everyone, welcome back to my channel. How are you today? So first things first, I want to sincerely apologize for what's happening in this region. But let's move past it. Moving on. So today's video is all about dun 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 dun. So today's video is all about the new Sweet Peach palette from Too Faced. I'm so excited about this thing. I literally waited in front of my computer screen for 18 hours on Sephora.com waiting for this thing to come in stock because Sephora wouldn't tell anyone what time they were releasing it, so I just waited. So I was super excited to do some filming with it. I already have one look up on my channel, and I just filmed this look and it will be up probably after this video, so stay tuned for this look. So I'm just gonna sort of share my thoughts on the palette with you guys, and then I'm going to show you some swatches as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's just start out with the packaging. This is what the actual palette looks like. Of course, it's stinking adorable. I would expect absolutely nothing less from Too Faced because they have the cutest packaging ever. We all know that. So it's got this nice ombre peachy color with the little peach embellishment sort of things. And then you open it up. It's very similar to all of the other palettes by Too Faced, except this one is a little bit different because with this one you get 18 eyeshadows, and with the other palettes from Too Faced, apart from their 9-pan ones, usually they only give you 16 because they make the highlight shades in the other palettes longer, like two of these pans wide, if that makes any sense. And there's 2 of those. So you get the same amount of product, but 2 more shades, if that makes any sense. And then the box that it comes in looks like this. Also adorable, also has the ombre sort of peachy color. And on the front it does say smells like peaches. It absolutely smells like peaches. It smells delicious. So yeah, that's what the box looks like. On the back it shows you all of the shades and things like that, what they're called, all of that good stuff. On the back it says, "Be sweet as peach with these fresh picked shades infused with the juicy scent and antioxidant rich essence of peach. Create endless looks with 18 shades of peachy pinks, corals, bronzes, and pops of purples that will have you looking summer fresh all year round. Includes our signature glamour guide with 3 looks to get you started." So the palette just comes in here, and then here is the little glamour guide. So yeah, it comes with this little packet with 3 different eye looks, and then it shows you on the back how to accomplish them. So yeah, I thought that was a nice touch that they added that little glamour guide. So as for the actual eyeshadows, I am personally someone who has never owned any Too Faced eyeshadows. This is my first Too Faced palette. It's incredible. It really is. Like, you can watch YouTube videos, if you've never owned a Too Faced eyeshadow palette before, you can watch YouTube videos and they can say they're so pigmented, they're so blendable, they have the lasting power is incredible, and nothing will prepare you for how amazing this palette is. Nothing. Like, I had expectations of it being really good, but I didn't have expectations of it being the best palette I have ever used. It's hands down my favorite palette I own. So I used these shadows for the first time yesterday, and I wore that makeup for probably, I want to say like 10 hours. It was at least 10 hours. It could have been more, maybe a little bit less. So I'm going to go ahead and insert some photos to show you what the shadow looked like at the end of the day, after I had been wearing the makeup for several hours. And to prime, what I did, if you saw the video, you know how I primed, but if you didn't see the video, what I did was I just kind of like blot my eyelids to get rid of the like excess oils and stuff like that, because that's what causes your eyeshadows to transfer from the lid up into like the crease area. So I did that, and then I primed with my Too Faced Shadow Insurance, like I always do, and then I used a NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil like this one. I used the black one to act as like a base, so that could have absolutely made the shadows more pigmented, but it also could have made them stick for longer. One thing that I did notice is that throughout the day, like the later it got in the day, the more my shadows looked kind of brown. And I don't know if that was just sort of the lighting that I was using or that I was looking at myself in the mirror or when I took the photos for this video. But these eyeshadows are purple and pink. But the more I wore them throughout the day, the more they looked dark brown and lighter brown, if you know what I'm saying. So as for the actual shadows, this is what they look like. I think that this palette is, like, everything about this palette is absolutely adorable. It's peach themed, obviously, and it's very inspired by the South. Just the names of the shadows are adorable, like Bless Her Heart, Charmed I'm Sure, Georgia, Talk Derby to Me. I just think they're adorable. I think they're really witty and cute. So yeah, that was my little mini review spiel thingy. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you some swatches of every single eyeshadow in this palette. The first shadow is called White Peach. This is just your basic white highlight shade. The next one is called Luscious, which is a beautiful sort of champagne-y, taupey kind of color. In the pan, it looks much more taupe, and swatched, in my opinion, it looks a little bit more pinky. It's still taupe when it's swatched, but it looks a little bit more on the pink side. The next one is called Just Peachy. It's a pinky, peachy sort of color. This is the shadow that I have buffed underneath my lower lash line, but it almost has a sort of duochrome sort of finish to it. It's got a little bit like of an iridescent sort of shift to it, so that's really beautiful. It's beautiful. Next up is Bless Her Heart. This is a straight up olive green that has a gold sort of shift to it. Next up is Tempting, and this one is the mattest, blackest eyeshadow ever. So the next one is called Charmed I'm Sure, which I think is the cutest name out of the entire palette. It's very Southern Belle. And this one is just a nice, relatively neutrally, almost maybe a little bit cool toned brown crease color, in my opinion. It's a nice neutral brown for your crease or your lid or whatever you want it to be on, because guess what? There's no rules. So this next one is called Nectar, and this one is very unique in my opinion. It's yellow, but it's not like banana yellow. It's like a peachy yellow. Yeah, it's like a peachy yellow. It's a yellow with like a peachy undertone to it. I don't know, I think it's beautiful. It's not one that I would typically reach for personally to put like all over my lid or anything, but I want to play around with it because I think it's really beautiful. Next is called Cobbler, and this one it's relatively similar to Luscious, but it's a little bit darker. It's got a beautiful sheen to it. It's kind of taupey, kind of rose goldy. It's rose goldy with a little bit of a peachy undertone. Next up is Candied Peach. So I first looked at it in the pan and I was like, you know, it's gonna be one of those shadows that's not too opaque, you know, so I'm gonna want to put like a base down, something like that. It's what's all over my lids right now. Girl, this thing is pigmented. The base of it is a matte finish, but it's got like little specks of glitter in it. It's not shimmery, it doesn't have a sheen to it, you know, when I move around in the light and stuff, but it's got little specks of glitter in it. Next up is Bellini, which is one of my absolute favorites. It's also got a nice, pretty, pinky iridescence to it. Next up is Peach Pit, and this one is one of the darkest plums you'll ever see in your life, but when the light hits it just right, it's got a nice, beautiful, bright sheen to it. Next up is Delectable, which is just purple. It's just a matte purple eyeshadow. Well, I don't even know if I would say that it's matte. It's a little bit satiny. It's a little bit of a satin sheen. This one is one of the less opaque ones, but it is buildable. You can build up the coverage to get a more opaque finish. Next up is a beautiful highlight shade, which pretty much matches my skin tone exactly because I'm so stinking pale. But it is called Peaches and Cream. It's just a matte, light skin tone highlight shade. Next up is one of my favorites. It's called Georgia. This is the one, this is also really close to my skin tone, but this is the one that I have buffed in my crease. It's a light, light, light baby pink color, and it is absolutely beautiful. Next up is Caramelized, and this shadow is the epitome of a bronze eyeshadow in my opinion. It's brown, and it's shimmery, and it's got a little bit of a warmer undertone to it. Next up is Puree. This is a nice matte brown crease color, again, in my opinion. So this next one is called Summer Yum, and this is the third and final sort of matte brown crease color in this palette. In my opinion, there's three matte brown crease colors, and there's like a cool toned one, which is Charmed I'm Sure, a neutrally toned one, which is Puree, and a warm toned one, which is called Summer Yum. And Summer Yum is one of the, again, a little bit more less opaque colors. But again, it is a more buildable eyeshadow, so you can build up to get the opacity that you want. It's not a crabby shadow, it's just a little bit more less opaque than the others. I talk with my hands so much. Last but not least is Talk Derby to Me, and in the pan, this one looks navy blue, but when it's swatched, it's a little bit more sort of like a matte black with purple shimmers on top of it. So yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful in some way. Stay tuned for this eye look. It's going to be a short little get ready with me. I only filmed the eyes, nothing else. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. I was super excited. And it is up on my channel right now, so if you want to go check that out. What? Shimmery E? No. Bye. Ooh, pretty. Describing these eyeshadows is going to be the death of me. And this one is the darkest plum